Good night. So I spent the day some of it sleeping, some of it thinking, also watching my own videos, and so I'll speak about some things that are on my mind. And first of all, I would say that my videos will be more and more will be adjusted, not in a very, I would say, impactful way, but still adjusted to the implied audience of the people of Titanland, of the new state. There is always the question of, sometimes people actually, of various intelligence agencies, were kind of like, especially in Israel, where they are all stupid, so they ask themselves, like, who is he talking to? Like, who is his implied audience? Like, who is the, does he work for the Iranians, or maybe, I don't know, the Americans, or the Russians, or maybe aliens? And it took these agencies quite a while to understand that I speak to them. It's so simple, but it wasn't trivial to them to understand that the answer is that I speak to them, and them is whoever listening, and that there is nothing secretive about me. The secret is imposed on me as in a violent way, in order to first shut me down, and also to force me to do all sorts of things against my will and against my interests. So the implied audience was, until very recently, was whoever just wanted to listen. And it's still like that in a way that, I do not say, and I do not intend to say anything secretive, but since the goals have been drastically changed in the last week or two, though it was predictable change, it's not kind of like, it doesn't come from nowhere. The change, you couldn't like scream forever that, you need to be and like using like arms and legs, and to wait forever that arms and legs will appear, even though, there was never any sign of an arm or a leg. You cannot, like, how long can you, crucify your, stand the crucifixion of yourself and your daughters, and like expect people to move arms and legs and not only mouths and tongues, while they are obviously not inclined to do so and do not think that it's in their interest, and they obviously just don't want to do it. So at some point, there should be a change in your, you should adjust to reality. So this adjustment was done, and now the goals are different. The goals are now to stay right here, right where I am, at this place, and to change everything else. Everything else will be changed. Literally everything around me will be changed, but I will be right here. Not because this is a particularly nice place by itself, but because any movement will just imply that, the problem was the place, but the problem was, first of all, Israel, and second, the earth. There is no place in Israel that is not full of Nazis. I know Israel quite well. I've traveled it and walked both leg and by car and whatever. And there is no place that is not a Nazi settlement or Nazi town. This is the situation. The problem is not this hostel. The problem is Earth, and particularly Israel. That's why there is no need to move. The need is to delete large parts of humanity, and of course the state of Israel with all its inhabitants. Because I need the place to be able to breathe without violence, terror, humiliation, and I need a place to raise my children without the constant fear of predators. And there will never be a place in earth that will agree to give me liberty to raise my children without the fear of predators and without constant humiliation. That is why it has become evident that the only solution, because I understand that God wants me to raise my daughters and perhaps eventually more children, not only my two daughters, but first of all my two daughters that I already have, and so I need to raise them. I know it for a fact that that's what God wants for me, and it's impossible to do so. While there are humans around us, it was proven to be impossible. If there are humans around us, we will always be under the fear of the predators. They will always hover around us. And try to eat us. And we will never have even a moment of freedom, or even a moment that is not in constant fear of the predators. So the only solution is to live in a place where there are no humans. And since the earth is completely inhabited, we must take a part that is already inhabited. So the best place is just right here. And that's what is going to happen. This is the only logical solution to the problem. There is no other logical solution. This is a conclusion that is derived from the facts. I want to raise my children. God wants me to raise my children. The earth is inhabited in its entire not necessarily every place is like there are people, but every place is claimed by some country. So every place where we will be in constant fear of the predators. Always constant fear. Since my children were born 8 years ago, there was not a moment that we were not under the fear of the predators. Always. And it's only getting worse. Always predators all around us. Lawyers, cops, judges, jailhouses, all of them are, social workers, of course, all of them are, they are hovering around us and with clear intention of hunting us, because they want to take my flesh and blood. All of them knew exactly what I am, and was intrigued by the ability to get a drug from me and to do it in a liberal way, because they can legally force me to be in their proximity. And of course the pupas as well, the younglings, are very coveted by the predators, because they predate them, because they hunt them since they were babies, without mercy at all. And of course with the notion of them growing up under, as a farm animals for these predators, just judges, social workers, lawyers. This was, too much of a temptation for these people to pass by. So we are always under their threat, under their violence. And it's almost a year now that I do not see my daughters, and this is a crime against humanity. And of course, it can't be it wouldn't be any better any other place in the world, because if a place did not move an arm or a leg to rescue us, and nobody moved an arm or a leg, it's just as it's just as so it means that they are the same as the Israelis. And I've spoken about it quite a bit, so I don't need to repeat myself. In essence, it can, it's a very long and complicated subject, but in essence, the essence is very simple. We cannot be fugitives, because if you are fugitives, the place that gives us shelter will only abuse us even more, because they would know that we are under their mercy. No, the only potentially place where we could have been living without the fear of predators would have been a place that moved arm and legs, that put boots on the ground in order to help us, but not a single country, not a single nation have done so. all 100% of humans moved mouses and tongues. Very shortly, I should explain that this phenomenon is, of course, derived primarily and essentially from the human ego, its worst and nemesis. But in a more concrete terms, nobody wanted to mess with the Americans that are the United States are they are the real sovereign entity here. Israel is a sovereign state who don't exist, has not existed for a long, long time. And the reason why the American, wanted me to be a slave is because they need me for radioactive isotopes. And other countries also, this is also true for other countries. So some countries have like double interest here, like both for the radioactive isotopes and in order not to mess with the Americans that didn't require the radioactive isotopes. All radioactive isotopes are in the world are, now at our time, it wasn't always like that. In our time, they all depend on my existence. Of course, I never received even 1 cent for it. I'm just kept. Money was always stolen for me. People try to rape me all the time. I'm under arrest for false pretenses, and people want to be. But of course, I need to be their slaves because it's not enough for humans that the energy market in this world exists because of me. It's not enough. It's not enough that they want to rape me also, and it's not enough that I walk in the street and people are stealing my flesh and blood. It's not enough. Not enough. Not enough. Nothing is enough because for humans nothing is enough. Nothing that they will take from you will be enough for them. They will always want more. You need to be the mattress under their boots, and even then they will feel that you owe them. The humiliations that I was subjected to in this place are unimaginable. Unimaginable. Every piece of shit in the streets allows himself to try to rob me, to humiliate me, to rape me. Every piece of shit. But of course, it's more important to speak about humans in general. They are addicted to the radioactive isotopes. Not all of them. Just to say, Germany, for example, and I already mentioned Germany, do not use it. Of course, they had to pay a price during the 80s, and of course until now, but they don't use it. But others use it. Others use it, and they don't want to stop to use it, and they want to get it from me, and they want to not give me nothing. Not only to give me nothing in return, but also to subjugate me as like, that I will be the ultimate slave. And even those that don't use it do not move arms and legs to get me out of here. It's not like the Germany, sent one pair of arms or one pair of legs to Israel. All the rest, of course, they have intelligence services that are very good at producing sounds and words in general, sounds, words, things like that. But no arm or leg has been seen here since forever. Only mouses and tongues. So it was predictable that at some time the logical conclusion would be not to wait forever and not to betray my duty as a father to my children, but to change the goals. And the goals were changed. Now the goals are to stay right when we are and to move all the predators to another place, to reservation for predators. It's a place, there is such a place, yes. There is such a place. I actually don't know. It might even be in in this three-dimensional space. I don't know where hell exists. Presumably it might even be like a place in this universe, similar to what you can read in the novel of Jose Farmer. What's it like? To your scattered bodies go. A science fiction novel, where the next world is actually a place in this universe. This is a possibility, actually. And some people in the past actually imagined it like that, like even within monotheist religions. I don't know, or maybe it's another place in kind of like in another dimension, but who cares? I know for a fact that it exists. Hell exists and it's waiting for the Israelis. All of them. All of them. All of them. So this is the current goal. To move the predators to a reservation for predators, Gehinnom, and to start our own place here. So this is my new implied audience, the people that will be part of this new state. And I don't know who they are, but I always speak to people that I don't know who they are. So this is not new in itself. But it's kind of like a change in the implied audience. It's not a dramatic change, because I mean I always say what's on my mind, and I don't know who actually listens. So, but I mean, yes, there will be some kind of like a change, like in direction of focus. First, I would say there is a question of like what would be the language that we speak. So the answer is English, because I mean, what can be a better candidate? We need to speak with each other. And maybe, I mean, all these people will actually be Israelis or ex-Israelis. So you might argue that we can speak Hebrew, but I personally, I am repulsed by the Hebrew language, even though this is the language of the thinking. I mean, I think in Hebrew, and of course, yeah, it's most natural to me, but I cannot listen to it. I will say again, the Israelis try to implement so many conditions, like on me, you know, psychological conditioning is the main tool of the Shabak for all my life, and like, and they also try to create conditions against, like, also like foreign languages, like against Arabic, against Russian, against I don't know what. But the only thing that they actually managed to do unintentionally is to create a condition against the Hebrew language. I cannot listen to the Hebrew language. I just cannot listen to it. After so many years that it was being used only to lie, only to skew reality, only to attack you. It was used only as a weapon against me. I cannot listen to it anymore. This is the language of deceit and lie, and I cannot listen to it. And I should say that in general, I don't know who will be the people of this new state. As I said, mostly Titans and former victims of the Israeli intelligence, that will always also be Titans. If they are not Titans, they wouldn't be able to live here because this would be a radioactive hell from the point of view of Homo sapienses. We wouldn't like even feel it at all. But Homo sapienses would not be able to live here even for a second. It would be like Hiroshima every day. But yes, I mean, these people, even if they are Titans, and they are Titans, I mean, they were, I mean, at least to some extent related to the Israeli intelligence. I mean, of course, against their will, either as victims or participants or something like that. Or there is also a potential that they are related to other intelligence services. Now, this is somehow problematic, and this is the first thing that I should like my message to the people is that I think that our worst problem as like a new sovereign entity, emerging entity, will be the fact that all of us, even if against our will, but were related to intelligence services, and specifically the Israeli and other ones. This is a huge problem, because it means that all of us are used to a life of deceit and lies and theater shows, and this is a huge problem, and we should together all overcome this problem. You see here, I mean, this is of course, this is one of the constructions from yesterday. Of course, it adds a different meaning, but you can also, say this is the closing of the theater. You see all the actors in the theater, and this is the silver screen, and it slowly closes on them, and then it's done. No more silver screen, no more shows, no more movies, and no more theater. All the actors, you see all the actors over there, you see the various actors, the various disgusting life forms are done. They had their job, but they are done. No more of actors, no more of disgusting life forms, no more of pedophile freaks, no more of predators, no more. We are done with the theater. The theater is closed, and it will not reopen. And this is a huge problem for this new state, because all of us are used to the life in the theater. And we need to overcome this tendency and this problem. We need to stop the theater and never let it restart. The theater was hell. And in general, the fact that humans, at least in this time, became so dependent on their mouths and tongues was the reason why the earth is hell. Not at that moment, but very, very soon. The earth is hell. What people call the supercontinents, which it's kind of like a new thing that I've seen in YouTube. They probably mean the Caribbean starships, I guess, are not going to move anywhere. As I said, one of those, by far the smallest, is already here for something like 100 years. They don't have, they don't, they are used to missions like, that are like ongoing, like, hundreds or thousands of years. It's not like, they were built for that purpose. You can understand by their size that, they are not like, they don't need like a resupply, dock to go to like a port to resupply with, I don't know, ram or lemons or horse. No, they are, they have everything that they need. They have it like on where they are. And you can understand it by their size. And I tell you that, radiation cycles, I should remind you, are not at all new. This is probably the first punishment of humans with regard to evolutionary exploitation. And it started doing, I don't know when, but maybe in the 1920s or something like that, or 1940s at the latest. But before this country was, Israel was established. It was already radiation cycles. And already people knew that, it affects mostly the people that have the T in their body. And already it was customary, to use Venus as a hiding place, like, to run away through the gates to Venus. All of that was already doing, before the Israel was even established. Nothing new about it, and I speak about it tremendously in this channel. But yes, now there are supercontinents, which, even larger starships, and they are radiating the Earth, and they are not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. They waited 100 years until they arrived. And humanity received many messengers, not only me, during this time, and nobody cared. Just mouses and tongues. No one moved the arm and no one moved the leg. Just mouses and tongues. So they waited 100 years. Outside of the first one that, arrived very soon, relative, because, it was like, one it was needed in order, just one small one was needed, just, there's a minimum to make sure that humans, are not doing incredibly, like, irresponsible things. And they have done it, like, the things that they have done in Venus were incredibly irresponsible, but it was stopped. But now, when the others arrived, they didn't arrive, like, it's not that it took them 100 years to arrive. They used hyperspace jumps, of course. Like lighters, faster than light travel. It didn't take them 100 years to arrive. But it took them 100 years until finally it was decided that they must arrive. And then they arrived. I don't know how long it took them to arrive. Maybe a month or maybe a week. I do know that this kind of travel, it takes time. It's not like, I mean, that they don't have the ability to go from any place in the universe to any other place like in zero time. It's not like that. I mean, their travel takes time, and it's in some way proportional to the distance. Like, I mean, the more you actually need to the more they need to fly, like, I mean, it takes the more time. I mean, it sounds obvious, but I mean, it's not the same kind of travel. Like, it's not travel that is based on like mechanics. Like, I mean, like physics, like mechanics as we know it. I mean, it's something else. Of course, I have no pretentious like to say that I know how it works. I mean, but in general, it's what people call hyperspace, which means the other kind of different kind of movement, but it also takes time. It's just that it allows you to move much faster than light. So they are here. They are here, and they are not going anywhere. And theirs will be fried. And a large part of the problem was historically, but more than ever during our time, this kind of, I mean, unbelievable dependency on the mouth and the tongues and in theater in general. Unbelievable dependency on like on the stage shows, like performance arts. Everything is performance. Like, I mean, everything is like, just, I mean, narrative and speech and words and shows. I mean, this is hell. This is hell, and this has brought humanity to actual hell. And all of us, we need to overcome it. There is no need for. We don't. I'm not saying that Plato. I mean, throw all the poets out of your country. No, of course. I mean, I have like my own like literary inclinations, but I mean, as like a modus vivendi, like as a way of life. Like, I mean, to live in a theater, everything is a show all the time, and everything is like speech. Blah 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 blah. How much can you live? On your tongue. How much? Enough with the tongue. Blah, 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 blah. Enough. Enough of the theater. Enough of the tongue. Enough. And this is a problem that all of us will need to overcome, because unfortunately, all of us probably are somewhat related to intelligence services, even if against their will. And this kind of like, it's created like, a tendency in all of us, to be too much, to think about like, or to act as if like, as if the tongue is so important. It's not that important. It's not that important. Arms and legs are much more important than tongues. In this new state, it will require arms and legs. I'm not going to start a new Amish paradise, if that's something. No, I don't know. This will be, eventually it will be much more technological than anything that exists on Earth right now. And this eventuality will actually become much quicker. Materialize much quicker than you might think. It's not like a 1,000 years journey. No. Very quickly, this will be a technological society much more advanced than anything on Earth. And in not that many years. But yes, it will take several years. And it will not be done by magically. It will be done by us. And we will need to move arms and legs. Arms and legs, not mouths and tongues. So this is kind of the first message to the people, that we need to expel the demon from us. Because all of us, because of the circumstances, not because we are bad people, but because of the circumstances, we are all infected with this demon, the viral demon of the theater. So we need to stop it. No more theater. No more theater. Any kind of theater. We do not need theater in our life. We do not need this acting. Enough of it. Enough of acting and actors. Enough. This is Satan. Enough. there are actually few other things that I want to speak, but I will. So I will create a new video very shortly. But I want to actually, start to do drink coffee and let's continue. And another thing, which is related, is that stop using metaphors like all the time. Again, I have nothing against art, as you know, but coffee is coffee. Coffee is not drug. Coffee is coffee. Enough. Coffee is just coffee.